It's the Empowerment Perspective Radio Show, hosted by Demiso Josie, Kareem Spence, and Miss Stacy Sanderson Dick. Stay empowered. Stay empowered. Stay empowered.
Well, all right. Welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Perspective Radio Show. I go by the name of Demiso Josie alongside
Spencer's here.
Also,
Stacy Sanderson Dick.
What's up, guys?
Oh, man, life is good.
Life is good. We have a full show for everyone today. We got Dr. Kyle in the building. We're going to introduce him in a minute. And then we have some special guests in the building. We got a call in, too, for the first time on our show. And we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to talk about, we just came back from Atlanta, the Empowerment Perspective Group. What was your thoughts on that? We were at the Innovative School Summit down there in Atlanta, talking about how to reach and teach today's hip-hop generation. What was your thoughts on that?
I think we did an outstanding job. I think, more importantly, that we opened some eyes and definitely been able to have teachers be able to connect the students a little bit better.
I thought the response was huge. We had two sessions down there, and people were treating us like rock stars. They were taking pictures and everything else. I said, "You sure you want to take a picture with me?"
Absolutely. They didn't even ask if I had warrants or no. They just
they was like, "You look petty. We want to take a picture of you because you look petty." But we went down there and did that and had a panel discussion as well. I definitely think it's a lane that we found for educators how to reach and teach today's hip hop generation, because it's hip hop is global at this particular point.
Absolutely. Like we explained to the entire group that we spoke to, that hip hop cross all borders. So every ethnicity, every financial situation, it crosses every border, and everyone seems to be liking it.
Absolutely. Stacy, how you been? It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, summer's in full swing at my house.
You still playing Foursquare?
No, now it's too hot to go outside unless they can get wet. Like today is the yard sale, and they're, it's so hot.
It's too hot. I don't understand that. Like when we were growing up, we were outside all the time. Doesn't matter, huh? Just give them some water. You brought water for us.
Right.
Give them some water.
Listen, and everybody needs to drink water today. Absolutely.
If you follow us on the podcast, you understand why I said that. I need to drink water. My wife, my lovely wife, told me I needed to drink water and go outside and get some air. But that's, suck it up, Buttercup. If you follow us on that podcast, you'll understand the story behind the water. Dr. Kyle is in the building. Yes. How you doing, sir?
Oh, fantastic. How's everybody doing?
All right. So Dr. Kyle, if you follow us on the podcast, he made an appearance with our Booty Yoga episode, and we've officially tagged him the name Dr. Kyle. He's our resident sports expert in the building today.
Yes. Yeah, that doctor term, as we've said and discussed, is extremely unwarranted and while flattering, I can't quite accept it, but hey, you can call me whatever you want. I promise I've been called worse.
We've granted you doctor from the School of Hard Knocks.
Absolutely.
That works for me. Absolutely. That works for me. I'm expecting my business cards next week.
They're in the mail, apparently. So on one of our first segments we like to do here is called Take It Personal. And the title of this Take It Personal is You Can't Do That in the Car. Right? So listen. I consider myself somewhat of a motivational speaker. I'm not going to say I'm the greatest. I'm just diving into this. But I have something. Every time I go in there and I study these speakers on the internet and on YouTube and on Facebook and things, I have a problem when they record the video from their car.
While they're driving?
While they're driving as well.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But
I've seen it a lot.
You can't find anywhere else to record your message other than inside of a car?
I would hope so. You could find somewhere else.
That's crazy. So then the other piece I had a gentleman applying for a job, and at the top of his resume, he took a picture, a selfie. And guess where that selfie was? Inside of his car. And he had his sunglasses on his head.
Okay.
And that's because, he's applying for a job, so he put this on there. So he walks into the interview, and guess what he had on top of his head? But my question to you guys is this: should I be taking this personal as somebody that takes motivational speaking serious? Is this something I should be taking personal?
No, not really, because the way I look at it is that he's a risk taker. What's more riskier than taking a selfie driving 50 miles an hour?
Well, if you watch that movie, Don't Be a Menace, he talked about driving while intoxicated with your eyes closed.
Yes, absolutely.
It's about the same thing to me. We don't recommend that. It's not a good idea to do that. So, Stacey, what do you think? Should I be taking this personal?
The driving while shooting a video, absolutely. I don't think anybody should be recording something while they're driving, because then you need to be focused on the road and not everything going on around you.
And they are looking at the camera.
The camera, and that's what I've noticed as well. We are a selfie population now. I don't like taking selfies, but I think that's now like the new norm. I don't think it's acceptable for a job application, but
my problem is that if you're really trying to get a decent message out there, I'm distracted by the fact that I see the seatbelt going across your chest. Like, that bothers me. Dr. Kyle, what do you think?
Well, coming from somebody who spends a lot of time in the car, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, sometimes some of your best thoughts are generated while cruising down the road, and if you don't have a notepad or even a recording device.
Listen, I agree with that.
It also shows the ability to multitask, which
you better hope everybody else can multitask as good as you can.
Yeah, and until we see the story that which I'm sure there have been that prove that this is a bad idea indeed, then let's go for it, right?
Listen, I completely understand where you're coming from on some level, because if you see me when I'm driving, I'm talking to myself. People will probably think I'm crazy, but I'm smart enough to know that I can record something on this device I have on the phone without, touching it and having it in my face.
Well, common sense is not so common. We all have to remember that.
So I think the message is it's like, you're singing out the wrong message. You're trying to be empowering to people, but telling them to do the wrong thing at the same time.
Risk takers. You have to be a risk taker. This is what we want. We want more risk takers.
So, were you taking a risk when we were down in Atlanta and you got that expensive hotel?
No, that's what I like. That was not a risk.
No free upgrades?
That was a really good decision.
There were no free upgrades on this trip.
No.
Not at all.
Kareem was being petty, right? So he booked this hotel before I did, and I was like, I looked at the price. I said, "You must be crazy. I'm not staying there. There's no way." So I stayed maybe a block away, downgraded a little bit, and
I could see him like walking down the street to my hotel from my view.
Absolutely. But I'll say this: our DJ, I had a DJ in my hotel, and it was a lot better than the DJ that you had at yours.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they had the party the first night we got down there. We missed because I had to get ready for the presentation. But that was just one night. You had one good night, but we had several nights. Like we had Love and Hip Hop stand in my building.
Oh yeah, you did. You absolutely did have Love and Hip Hop in your building. Did they have chicken in there by any chance?
Wasn't no chicken.
No chicken. That was it was an awesome trip though. I didn't get a chance to hang out in Atlanta the way that I wanted to because it was all about business. I do have my daughters in the building right now, so I don't know if they're going to be on today. But my daughters were a little bit mad at me and was like, "Daddy, you going away again, and you not getting paid for it. What is that about?" And it sounded like my wife was trying to prompt them to say that. I think that was my wife speaking through my kids.
Yeah, that cut deep. That cut me. That hurt.
It's all good though. So we're about to pay these bills and take a short commercial break. On the other side, we're going to introduce our guest that's on today. And until after this commercial break, stay empowered. All right, welcome back to the Empowerment Perspective Radio Show. I go by the name of Demiso Josie, co-host with Kareem Spence and Stacey Sanderson Dick. Now, on the previous show that we had, our guest, the first guest that we had on, you kind of just randomly ran into these people, Kareem. And,
yes.
The chicken story and your car, I guess, is what drew these people into us. But we ended up developing, or in the process of developing, a great relationship with them. Mm-hmm. You have reached out to the gentleman that we have on today. Was that by chance, design, or were you being petty again?
No, this was actually by design. So not too long ago, I was invited to another radio studio, and when I got there, I met two awesome gentlemen, and these guys are just phenomenal. They're like the dynamic duo. This is Donald Campbell and Unc. Welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Yes, and Donald's here from the Atlantic Center for Independent Living. So, Donald, there's something special about you that not many people, who really are not watching us on Facebook Live, have the opportunity to know. So, can you share with us your story?
Sure. My name is Donald Campbell. I'm the executive director of the Atlantic Center for Independent Living. We're a support center for people with disabilities. I grew up in Atlantic County, New Jersey. I have cerebral palsy. I was born with cerebral palsy. I went to Stockton, where I got my bachelor's in political science. Then I went to Delaware Law School, where I got my law degree. Then I passed the bar, and then I was interested in disability law and education law and really advocacy and also a little bit of politics. And I got this great opportunity to be the executive director of the Atlantic Center, where we help all people with disabilities. And thanks to my uncle, who's here, my Uncle Chris, he was a big help to me. He helps get me places. He helps keep the house organized. He helps do a bunch of stuff. So I wouldn't know what to do without him. So
And I also got you the job where you're at.
yeah, and he also helped me get
It's
the
all that stuff.
and he also helped me get the job.
And
Where-
law school, and
where-
all that, just sitting in the car.
And, you know, but, you know,
internships, 2 states. Remember that? I had to drive you there and then drive you back to school. Look at
you
all
know,
that.
he did that. I, of course, did the things like get the grades and pass the bar thing. Small little things. Small little things.
Listen,
But yes, we're a great team.
Can you help me out, please? I need some help too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should start advertising his
You
services.
should
We should.
start
We should
selling his
start
services.
advertising his services. Be the traveling executive assistant.
I'm doing this thing called a dissertation. I need some help. Oh, can you write it?
Well, I'll say every once in a while I need to go pick up some chicken. I need you to come give me so I get some chicken.
We're gonna call you the chicken king.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. So Donald, you talked about you had this purpose of wanting to help those that are going through, certain types of disabilities. Can
Yes.
you expand on disabilities that you
I just want to help people with disabilities live as independently as they choose. I want them to have the opportunity to go for whatever their dreams are, no matter how big or small they are. And that's something we do at the Atlantic Center. We help support people get resources. We advocate for them. We help them develop life skills. And we just help them move on to whatever stage of their life they want to move on to and develop that sense of control and that they're in control of their own destiny.
What kind of life skills do you guys develop?
We could do anything like organization, fiscal management, conflict resolution, interview skills, any big or small cooking, kitchen skills. We have people on staff that assist with that. It can be anything big or small, and it's all about that person's needs.
Was this when you were going through your education? Was this the end goal for you, or was this kind of?
Yes, I wanted to end up helping people with disabilities in some form or fashion, and I hope to continue to do that in whatever form or fashion, whether that's law or later government or another nonprofit. Whatever the next stage is, that's what I'm looking forward to doing. And but as long as I'm in this world, helping people the best I can accomplish their dreams, I'm happy.
So that your business that you run now is a nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit. Centers for Independent Living it exists nationwide. They're in pretty much every county of the state. So even if I'm based in Atlantic County, mine serves Atlantic County. The state mandates that you serve certain areas. So if you're in a different county or in a different state, look it up. Just look up Centers for Independent Living in whatever state you are or whatever county you are, and it pops up. Because they're all based on that same philosophy of self-determination.
Can you talk a little bit about your organization and how you formed your organization?
So the Mental Health Association in Atlantic County got a grant from the state to open a center for independent living. Then they hired a staff and hired me. Now we're kind of branching off and becoming our own standalone agency. So that's the next phase of where we are, and that's where we are.
What about those that work with you?
So we have a pretty small staff of about 5. We're growing. We're gonna add a few more. What's unique about our staff is that we're mandated to have at least 51% of our staff have a disability. So I have cerebral palsy. There's another member of the staff who has a disability, and I think that's unique because a lot of nonprofits you go to that assist disabilities, they don't have people on staff in decision-making roles with disability too often. So you're getting support and a little bit of encouragement from people who actually know what it's like to live with a disability, which is different and I think a strength of our organization.
If someone wants to, donate to the cause of the nonprofit or to help out and assist, how can they get in contact with you?
You can go to my website if you're in my area, where atlanticstill.org, or just if that's not popping up for whatever reason, just Google Atlantic Center for Independent Living and we pop right up. You could go on this if you're in a different area of the state. You just look up New Jersey Centers for Independent Living, and all the centers will pop up. We're pretty Googleable. If that's the word.
Googleable.
I like that. I like that.
I'm writing this down.
Write that down.
This is
Yeah, you better copyright that one.
Googleable. I'm trying to figure out how to spell that one. Googleable. All right.
That's awesome. I want to talk about a little bit more about like brain injuries because I know that that is something that is really occurring a lot, especially in the summer months where people
Yes.
like to ride around in their Jeeps with no doors on.
Yes. Or trying to film a
Yes,
motivational
exactly.
speaker video in a car.
Yes,
That
exactly.
can cause traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
But yeah, so I often work with people with traumatic brain injury, and it's such a unique situation because these are people who live quote unquote normal lives until something happens, and then their life gets changed, and it really affects them, and you have to kind of reassess. And there are a lot of resources out there. Luckily, New Jersey's lucky. There's the Traumatic Brain Injury Fund, which will give you funding for to get a bunch of resources you need, and there are organizations out there specifically for traumatic brain injury that will help, and that's where Centers for Independent Living come in, is really connecting you with all these resources. So you get a traumatic brain injury, and a lot of people are like, I'm just trying to get through the day. Where do I go? What do I do? And we're kind of that ground floor of okay, here's where you are, here's your new life, and let's try to connect you to some resources.
Got you. What kind of level, when we talk about traumatic brain injury, like what kind of level, because I'm kind of tying this into sports a little bit. I want to bring Dr. Kyle into this in terms of the concussions that we're seeing at schools and things. Are you dealing with those, or are these like major brain?
These are pretty much major injuries. I've dealt with people who've been in accidents. I've dealt with people who fell. I've seen that. I haven't seen too many. I haven't seen any, quite frankly. They used to play sports or whatever, but I know that's a new concern with sports as we learn more about the effects of concussions.
Gotcha. I want to stay there real quick, and Dr. Kyle, I want you to jump in a little bit, just in terms of, you played ball. I mean, we talked about this on a previous podcast, and I know when I played, I didn't see as many cases of concussions.
Got your bell rung.
You got your bell rung, and you kind of went back out there and you continued to play. Do you think there is more cases today than when you were playing back in the day?
Well, I mean, it's a loaded question. Do I think that it's more prevalent now? Probably not. I mean, yes, people are bigger, stronger, faster than they ever have been right now in all sport. I mean, it's not just football. No matter what you're doing, you're seeing that. But at the same time, equipment is better than it ever has been before in the past. I mean, you got to figure when football first was invented, people were dying. Nobody talks about that. People were dying. So how many concussions went, undocumented throughout all the years? I think it's just now with technology and with really the microscope on sport and really the head injuries associated with it now, people are just talking about it a lot more.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it's nothing new.
Right, and these coaches definitely are treating it different. I remember playing midget football. Actually, we were playing Bridgeton, and you were in this area, and I caught the ball on a kickoff, and my friends didn't block for me, and I got hit by two guys at the same time.
Sure, you just didn't go the wrong way?
No, definitely. After I got hit and woke up, I was going the wrong way. I remember the coach coming on the field with that smelling salt, and he kind of woke me up, and then he told me, sit out for the kickoff or whatever, and he put me right back in. I was completely messed up. I was in la-la land, like, for at least a couple of days. But so these coaches are definitely, a little bit more aware about the situations and really are really careful about it. But the equipment does help, and everyone being educated on those brain injuries is
That's
huge.
the key. That is the key. It's all out there for everybody now at this point. There's no hiding from it. It doesn't matter what league or what sport. It's out there, and more research is being done on it. Every time something pops up. I saw a study yesterday that there was 111 ex-NFL players who I guess passed away and had their brains scanned. 110 of the 111 had some form of CTE.
Wow. Yeah.
So you got to figure how many other people are out there that have it or are suffering from some, something from it, and you don't even know.
Maybe that's what's wrong with me. I might have
Yeah.
CTE or some shit. Now, Stacey, you have kids and they're involved in sports and things. How concerned are you with brain injury?
I'm concerned. They don't really play a lot of contact sports for right now. Well, basketball is getting more prevalent in our house, but I haven't really had to deal with it yet, but I do know kids in school that have been out because they've gotten hurt, whether in soccer or football, and then they come back and there's limited reading, there's limited things that they can do until they've been cleared by the doctor. And I think it's good that they're taking steps, because I watch football, and you see those players when they get their bell rung, they want to go back in. They get mad when their helmet's taken away from them and they have to go in the tent. Didn't somebody kick the tent over last year or something? Or I mean, they get
Throw a
mad.
temper
They want to
tantrum,
go back in, and it's for their best interest, but they don't want to hear it. I guess making that kind of money,
Right.
Well,
you want to go back in, but
the in-game testing for it too is like it never was before. I mean, I even remember when I was playing, which wasn't too long ago, the concussion protocol, if you will. I mean, if you really wanted to pass it, you could pass
could
it.
pass it,
Yeah.
right.
Nowadays they can tell. I mean,
Yeah.
they can call it out from a mile away, which is good. I mean, that
Right.
proactive.
Right. I'm pretty sure the coach just told me, look at my eyes, and he was like,
How
oh,
many
you're,
fingers?
You're right,
Yeah.
you're good. And put me back in there. That's funny. Want to go back to you, Donald, about your work that you're doing. So if I had someone that needed to use your services, how do we go about making that happen?
Okay, so you would just come into the center and make an appointment, or you can call. Better probably to call ahead and make an appointment, and you would just meet with us. You don't have. What's great about us is you don't have to bring any documentation to prove you have a disability to work with us. It's no cost, so we have a real low barrier of entry. You can just come in and be like, I think I need help, and we'll do the best we can to help you. So it's really easy access, so don't be intimidated if you're in Atlantic County and see my Center for Independent Living, or you see another Center for Independent Living, just to go in and ask questions, or just to sign up.
Right.
You know, all you have to say is, I have a disability, I think I have blank. And it could be any disability. It doesn't have to be a physical disability. It doesn't have to be a well-known disability. You can say, I have severe anxiety. I have depression, and that counts too. So,
Awesome. Well, we definitely appreciate the work that you're doing down there. We definitely appreciate having you on the show today.
Absolutely.
Making your way all the way out here in Millville. So give that address and website again, and wave your contact information.
so we're the Atlantic CIL.org, and our phone number is 609-748-2253. That's 609-748-2253. And don't hesitate to call.
4 East Jimmy.
Oh, and our address. See, this is what my uncle's good at. He remembers things. And our address
That's it.
is 4 East Jimmy Leeds Road, Galloway, New Jersey.
Awesome. And we'll also put a link up on our empowermentperspective.com page so you can get in contact if you are interested in doing that. We're going to take a quick commercial break shortly. We have, based upon our last podcast, we had the pastor on, and we were talking about how we're going to do some job training and things for the people that were in this area. We actually have somebody on that's going to be on the line after this commercial break on how to, he actually got jobs, correct?
Absolutely. So, as we told Pastor Robinson, we're going to do our very best to be able to support the community. So I reached out to a good friend of mine, and he has some really good information.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and on the flip side, we'll have that information for you guys. Until after this break, stay empowered. All right, welcome back to the Empowerment Perspective radio show. As we mentioned last episode, we are about empowering the community, empowering people, and celebrating educators of all shapes, forms, and fashions. So we are in Cumberland County. We're going to put our stamp in Cumberland County and the surrounding counties, and make sure that we can bring some opportunities to the people and our listeners and our followers. For those of you who are following us on our podcast and on all our social media outlets, don't worry, we're coming to a city near you soon. We just left Atlanta. We did Orlando, Chicago, Pittsburgh, so we're making our rounds, but we definitely want to make sure we put our stamp on South Jersey because that's where we're from. So, Mr. Spence, you had reached out to some people that had some work for some people in the area.
Yes. I realized I have a lot of friends. So when we had a conversation with Pastor Robinson, I reached out to another one of my friends, and this guy he wears so many hats. He pastor, mentor, job recruiter, and a good friend of mine. So Pastor Ragnar, you there, sir?
I am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We had him on a podcast previously, correct?
Yeah. And he went in, and I don't know. Pastor, did you accept your pettiness? Did we talk about that? You being petty?
Say it again.
I
I'm
said,
sorry.
Did we talk about you being petty, or we didn't go there with you?
Yeah, we did. We went down that road. We did.
Oh, okay.
I'm still traumatized. From that. But my therapist is doing a good job.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good.
Hats off to him.
How are you? How you doing? How's everybody?
Everybody's well, man. Can't complain at all.
Good.
Kareem said that you had some information that you're willing to share for our listeners out here in South Jersey.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I'm from the Atlantic County, and so those who are familiar with the status in our area, we lost 8,500 jobs. And so I'm thankful and grateful to report that 6,000 of those jobs were recently brought back online, so which is good. But of course, it's going to take a few years to increase the morale and to bring more jobs. So in lieu of all of those things that happened, I decided through the grace of God to make myself available as if I really had more disposable time. But I figure instead of just preaching from the platform, why don't I just put my actions and intuition and connections to work to find and help folks find jobs. So what I did was, thank you. So what I did was I partnered with On-Time Staffing, and my email address, I want to get these housekeeping items out of the way. My email address is kragland, RAGLAND, at ontimestaffing.com. On-Time Staffing currently has anywhere between 80 to 150 jobs available to date. And so I'm working both the Atlantic County, Cumberland County, and Philadelphia. Well, because Philadelphia has 1.5 million people, and the recidivism rate, their sixth largest city, so the recidivism rate is very, very high. So I'm currently working with the reentry programs in Philadelphia to try to help those who were just released to find a job. So in addition to that, we're trying to identify as many second chance employers as possible so that we can help those who are recently incarcerated come out and find work, because we know the frustration and the traps and snares that many young men and women fall into is because of the lack of opportunity. And so what I decided to do through the grace of God was to throw my hat in the ring to try to help out as many people as I could who fit the bill. So there are many who are doing very well. There are many middle-of-the-road people who are finding their way. But there are a lot of people who are disconnected as a result of not having the proper support system. So as a clergy who is eclectic, I knew that I could get out there and try to get into some of those crevices and places where nobody are willing to go, because it's in our wheelhouse, it's in our nature to do it, it's the calling on our lives. So I'm currently collaborating and helping On-Time Staffing.
Okay.
My phone number, my business number is 605-6152. That's 609-605-6152. Let me say it one more time. 609-605-6152. And I'm not trying to be facetious, but in public speaking, they said, tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them again, and then tell them again. So that's why I did it 3 times.
Are you driving with a seatbelt across you right now?
I am. I'm actually on my way to the Bronx, to a cemetery in the Bronx. My wife found her great-grandfather's grave, and so we're going to go, and she's going to take some pictures. So we're excited about that. And so, but no, I'm good. I got my eyes on the road, and I got my seatbelt on, and so my cognitive thinking is way up. I'm paying attention. I have to preach tomorrow. I can't get in an accident.
I got you. So what kind of just give us a little sample of the jobs that they're hiring currently for.
Okay, so right now in Millville, there is a bakery. So there are bakery jobs available in a bakery, so you have to be able to contend with the heat. Then in Swedesboro, I can give you more details on that in a few moments. In Swedesboro and Glassboro is what you call Ready Pack. One is Red Pack and the other is Taylor Farms. Now, let me tell you what that client does. That client provides Walmart, Wawa, and other places like it with pre-packaged fruit and salad. So when you go into McDonald's, those pre-packaged, or Wawa pre-cleaned and pre-packaged, that's what they do in Swedesboro and in Glassboro. So that's that. We have about 100 jobs there. Then there is a fourth location, which is in Millville. We have 25 forklift jobs.
Okay. We definitely appreciate your efforts and the things that you're doing out in the various communities. We're definitely going to put up your information on our website, theempowermentperspective.com, so you can find Pastor Ragland's phone number and contact information and on-time staffing stuff on there as well. That is theempowermentperspective.com.
One other thing, Pastor, before we let you go, we're going to try to create some type of job fair. So we just want to know whether or not if you're in. You know, I always ask you on the spot whether or not if I can get you to participate in something. Are you in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody. They say, well, why do you welcome all? I said,